Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Soul, Mind, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. And together we are working to connect women in leadership and business, empowering each other, improving the health and wellness of our community, body, soul, and mind.
And it's Mindset Monday.
Woo!
So this is how we love to start our weeks to empower you and get the day started right within a positive mindset. And our mindset topic this week is
dealing with demons. Sounds awful.
What's the quote this week?
Turn your wounds into wisdom. Oprah Winfrey.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to get into that.
Right.
This week's sutra topic is SAMYAMA, or focusing inward. And the quote is, only a one-pointed mind turned inward succeeds in self-inquiry. Ramana Maharshi.
I love that how well they mesh together this week, especially.
Awesome.
I mean, every week they do, but
right.
When we really focus inward and we look at these demons, which in this reference is referring to past traumas, past or positive, negative experiences, leaving that mark on you, right? So we talk about that a lot with our PTSD. And wow, have we grown?
Our growth.
Wow.
Right. And all of our positive mindset topics counteract those inner demons that we have. And as we come to the end of the sutra book, it's those actual practices of focusing inward and focusing on your inner demons, right? The process of turning our attention away from outer objects and toward our inner self occurs in stages. Okay, it's not overnight. So
it's not a one and done thing. Right? Dang it. Dang it.
And is the culmination of our journey through the 8 limbs of yoga. The previous limbs that we've talked about are preparation for samyama, which itself can mean meditation.
So everything that we've been doing, this whole last year, has brought us to here. So if you are just watching this for the first time and these concepts are new, we invite you to go back. We're going to talk about them again. But go ahead and go back and listen to some of those past podcasts.
Yeah, and I think we've decided, because we only have a couple chapters left of the Path of the Yoga Sutras, our next reading is going to be the 4 agreements that we're going to do between the time we finish the Path of the Yoga Sutras and the end of the year.
Yes.
And then we are going to start the new year fresh with possibly a new book.
Yeah, we're undecided yet.
Yeah.
As how it's still unfolding. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so because typical demons, right? So we're not going to get stuck in our heads. So we know the process and what we're going to do. But typically demons come from relationships. So parents, siblings, friendships, schoolmates, and then later in life, colleges, significant others. And so what happens is you have an interaction with somebody, and then that influences your next interaction. And so we don't mean to take these things with us. Or anything that happens.
We don't mean to take these things personally,
right?
But we do, and that creates that little inner demon,
right,
within us that then we have to fight against.
I liked this example. I was listening to someone talk about he was dating, and this one girl freaked out that he was paying for the bill. So then at the next date he went on, he was like, I want to pay because I want to pay, but I don't know if it's okay to pay. Then he's like,
and then you don't want it to become an expectation.
Right. Right. So I thought that was a good little example about how one interaction influences the next time you interact with somebody, and not even the same person in a totally different situation.
Right. And it could be years later.
Yes. Too. Right. And that's how we get, especially with the PTSD, right? Because that's what happens is we get sent back to wherever it was, whatever it was in our heads.
Right.
Our bodies respond. And that, that's why we have to come back to today, back to taking one day at a
I know.
time,
One breath.
that life force. So accepting and letting go of past mistakes and unhealthy relationships enables you to learn and grow. And
because we are always doing our best.
Right. So how do we do that? I love that we get to talk about some of the hows, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we always talk about awareness.
Yes.
Acknowledge, identify things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always the very first step. You got to identify it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then, spend some time reflecting on it. What do you need to learn from this situation?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just you need to learn how to have boundaries.
And sometimes you just need to understand maybe what the lesson might be.
Right.
Okay.
And
if we're struggling, there's a lesson to be learned from that. And what is that lesson? And are we going to continue running into the same struggles because we're not learning the lesson? Or are we going to figure out what the lesson is and move forward?
Life happens for you, not to you. That's always my thing. So let it go. So feel it. You got to dig, you have the feels. You got to move through the feels. You can't stay stuck in them.
Right.
Be objective. Once you've felt them and what you needed to feel, move into an objective place that allows for more rational thought.
Clearer thought.
Yeah.
Right. You had a struggle with a coworker or something, and you're trying to understand them better, like what happened, like we used to be friends, now we're not friends, what's going on, and just meditate on that for a little bit. Try to see things from their perspective. Did they take something personally?
Right.
Are they reacting to their own circumstance? Because it's probably not about you.
Right. And what was going on for you that made you react that way?
Right.
Because that's what you can control, right? You can do that. So that's where that objective piece comes in. Like, my reaction wasn't about the situation at all. It was about what happened this morning. It was about being late, or it was about, my own agreement with myself. Right. So that's a lot of times what mine is. It's like I made an agreement with myself and I'm fighting about it because I want
it's not you now.
Yeah. Right. So forgive is the next stop. Grace. Have forgiveness. Whether you need to forgive yourself or someone else, actively go through the process of forgiveness.
Do the forgiveness.
Yeah.
Don't say I forgive you and then still hold that.
Yeah.
Okay, release that negative energy, because guess what happens when you forgive somebody? You've let it go.
Yeah.
It can no longer bother you.
They're not taking up space in your head anymore.
Right.
That situation, it's not holding you down or bogging you or tying you to a place anymore.
Right. When you forgive somebody else, it kind of puts the responsibility back on them.
Right. You showed up. Did you do your best?
Yep.
Did you show up in your best way? And if they're showing up in their best way, can we have some grace? That's kind of my process, right?
Try to have the expectation that whatever encounter or interaction you're having, they're doing the best they can in that moment.
If you're doing your best and we start assuming that other people are doing the best, how we receive them is different.
It's totally different.
Yes.
What's next?
All right. Look forward. Remember that future hurt, disappointment, and other negative experiences are all part of life. That being said, you have the power to not let the past hold you hostage. Redirect your thoughts to those that are more productive. So just taking control of what you want to do. Make a plan to create some new energy, right? Focusing on the past is very limiting. So if we're focused on right now, we're thinking of positive things, we're cultivating that positivity.
And be aware of the word always. It's
Mhm.
always been this way, so it's always got to be this way. No,
Always and never are
always and
not
never.
are absolutes.
Right.
There
There's
are
no
huge
absolutes.
red flags to me that I'm not processing the actual situation in front of me.
Right.
If I have an always or never, nope, we're gonna pause.
Mm-hmm.
Nope,
Reevaluate.
that's mine. Stop. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Abolishing past limitations. So just embracing the possibility of negative outcomes should be seen as part of life and part of growth.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk about that a lot, about what does failure actually mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or what does success actually mean?
Mm-hmm. I think it's all in a matter of perspective.
Right. I mean, you got to fall off the bike to learn how to ride, right?
Right.
I mean,
so falling off the bike, you might consider a failure.
but
But
it's
then you
not.
had to do
You
that
had
in
to,
order
yeah.
to learn how to stay on the bike, which is a
We did a
success.
happy dance every time we fell off the bike when Andy was learning to ride the bike. Because falling is so traumatic to him. So we had to turn it into something positive. Like, this is normal part of, we had to normalize falling down, right? So literally celebrate it. Like, you learned something, right? Like, heck yeah. Woo, that sucked.
You learned what not to do next time.
Right? It happens to all of us.
All the time. Every day.
Right? Like,
every day.
Life continues to life.
And I call it failing forward.
Yes.
Failing
I
forward.
love that.
Okay.
And just avoid repeating history. So really looking at some of those demons that keep coming up so that you can figure out how to, I call it pull the matchstick. So if you have a series of matches and you want to stop that one from igniting the next one, you got to pull a stick. So where can you pull that matchstick a little bit further back every time until you find that inception fire? And then that's how I've led back
I like
to
that visual.
Right.
Yeah.
It is, because fire spreads really quickly and that's what happens, right? It builds on top of each other. You know, how many matchsticks do you need to go back?
And it gets
before?
worse and it worse and worse. And that lesson that you're supposed to learn, if you don't learn it the first time, does it get harder?
Oh gosh.
So if you notice,
that's a solid yes. It gets harder if you have to face it again and again and again.
Right. So if you keep facing these things over and over and over and over again, there's a lesson to be learned, and you're not gonna stop facing those challenges until you deal with whatever the lesson is. Sometimes
it's, you're holding on too tight. You're focusing on the wrong things. Sometimes those are the lessons are more subtle than we realize. And that's what I love about these mindset topics and talking about them.
Me too.
Do we have any activities we should do this week?
Yes, we do. Okay,
that will help us dig even deeper and look within.
With our sutra topic this week of SAMYAMA, that dealing with those inner demons magic that we both talked about. The thoughts this week are: the inner limbs of yoga draw me toward the pure inner light that is my true nature. That's the lesson, right? I can remain focused and attentive no matter what extraordinary abilities develop. Some people experience things when they're deep in meditation, and that's kind of what they're talking about, is these supernatural human abilities.
Because it can be scary to develop things that you didn't know, or notice things you didn't know you already have.
Or it's like you reach this state of pure clarity where everything is clear and the answers are clear and in front of you. And that is,
don't be frightened.
Don't be frightened by it. Just notice it's there. And then I can remain, I read that one. And then I will seek simplicity and peace, not power or prestige.
Simplicity and peace. I love that.
Because, okay. you have this clarity. You have this mental clarity. You know exactly what to do with the information that comes to you during meditation. Okay. If you were to seek simplicity and peace with the information versus power and prestige, how would that change the outcome?
Ooh,
right.
Nice.
So that's why they want you to do that. Okay.
Okay.
Our exercises this week are: have you ever witnessed or personally experienced supernormal powers? Imagine having such powers yourself and see what this brings up in your heart mind.
I like that because that's really fun as we go into the spooky season, right? So kind of open your mind to different possibilities, right? It's just another.
And I view it more like really listening to your own inner knowing, really tapping into that energy that connects you with everything else. Right. Second, sit in a comfortable position with a vertical spine. Quietly contemplate a chosen outer object, like a decision that needs to be made or a person you're having difficulty with. Okay. How can you more fully understand the object? Probe deeper and deeper until more knowledge about it is revealed. How does this knowledge change your view of the object? This is that understanding piece. Let's really try to understand this person I'm having difficulty with.
Or a situation, like maybe you don't know all the parts of how a situation works or comes together. So maybe you only see like the benefit, or you only see the negative side of it. How can you see the whole picture? What's got to happen in the whole process so that you can have a better understanding of like the energy around it, or the where somebody else is coming from when they say who, but you know, that's a lot of work. And
then lastly this week, it's meditate inwardly on a chosen inner object. Notice every physical distraction and try to rectify it. Whenever you realize that your attention has drifted, bring it back to the object. So this is that wandering mind practice, right? Let's keep the mind on the path and keep it from wandering around, because our minds like to wander.
Nah.
Right. And if you can't get something off your mind, it keeps looping back to you. It keeps looping back for a reason. Stop what you're doing, write it down, and then come back to meditation.
Yes.
Because it's like, okay, I will deal with this later. Right now, I'm focused on this.
Yeah. I feel like it's like I'm being told, write this down. Like it's like yelling at me, write it down. And then I'll write it down, and then I can, okay. Then I can go back.
Then you can go back
and get focused back on what I was focusing on originally.
And it also says to pretend this object is inside of your consciousness, not outside of it. And that's that connection with that universal energy that we all have, right? So this is the how. This is the how.
These last few weeks and these last few chapters are pretty intense.
Awesome. Yeah.
And awesome. I love how it's bringing it all together, right?
We're just wrapping it up.
Wrapping it up.
Wrapping it up.
Speaking of wrapping it up, there is just a few weeks left
for the Path of the Yoga Sutras and to the
gala.
Oh yeah, to the gala too.
Yes, both books.
Yeah,
absolutely. Are because we have them, they lined up, like the alignment is amazing.
It is. It's pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
So the Tears Gala is coming up October 8th. Is the 20th anniversary gala for the Tears Foundation, and it's Roaring 20s edition. So we're gonna get all dressed up and go have a blast for a good, great cause. And we're still seeking donations, gift baskets for the silent auction, live auction items. We'd really like to help the Tears Foundation raise lots of funds to be able to help those families who need their services, which is never planned for.
Right. So. And I really like looking at the Tears Foundation. 20 years.
20 years.
We're coming up on our 1 year. Like, look, I mean, we've done amazing things in our 1 year, but in 20 years, they're now reaching worldwide. Exactly. Like, what is going to be if you just keep your focus going. So I think that's really amazing.
Right.
Like, and I'm really excited, and I hope that we can get Sarah Slack to come do a podcast with us. She's so busy.
I'm going to talk her into it. She's been really busy, but also looking forward to it at the same time.
Yes. Well, that's not it. Yeah,
no,
not but full. She's not just busy. She's full.
Very full.
And that's an extraordinary place to be when you're full and it's just life is doing the do's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your resilience is kicking in, and so I'm excited.
It's both exhilarating and exhausting at the same time. So if you are interested in donating for the Tears Foundation Gala, hit me up, charlie@womeninleadershipbsmb.com. Shoot me an email. And for any of the links to the books we read and basically
our podcasts, all the things, head up the website, www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com. So that stands for BSMB is body, soul, mind, and business. So that's where those comes from. Yes. So thank you so much for joining us here at the table today to talk about getting our mindset going for the week.
Yes.
We love and appreciate you. Thank you for being part of the community.
And thank you for supporting us by downloading. We'll see you next time. Namaste.
Namaste.